Jack Dawson is a manic pixie dream girl, and I can prove it. In 1997, James Cameron brought to the world the movie Titanic, and subsequently, Jack Dawson. If you don't want to listen to a deep dive on a fictional character, then scroll on, the neurodivergents are talking. Before we get into it, like and subscribe, I'm kidding. What is a manic pixie dream girl? Great question, I'd love to tell you. A manic pixie dream girl is a character trope. Usually a young woman with an eccentric personality whose entire purpose in the story is to uplift the male protagonist or inspire him in some way. And she usually does this by being quirky and not like other girls. Does this fit Jack Dawson? Yeah. It sure does. For me personally, there are 5 main points that make somebody a manic pixie dream girl. Things other than the hallmark, they only exist to help the male protagonist. Number 1, they're not like other girls. They are different. They're a little odd. They're a little kooky, a little quirky. They don't quite fit into what is considered normal in the story. Which actually brings us to number 2, which is they have to have hobbies and interests. A lot of romance stories, we don't actually know about any hobbies or interests for our main characters, either of them. We know a big thing like, oh, he really likes sports and she really likes books, but we don't really know about their hobbies. Not our manic pixie dream girl. Our manic pixie dream girl has hobbies and interests. It's usually multiple. She's not defined by this one thing that she likes. She has a lot of different interests. Usually has a main interest which happens to align with the interest of our main character, which is why they bond. Number 3, she's a free spirit. She has to travel. She doesn't want to be stuck in this small town anymore, Dad. She has hopes and dreams and wants adventure in the great wide somewhere. And this free spiritness usually contrasts with our main character who tends to feel trapped or alone. Brings us to number 4, which is that our manic pixie dream girl has to inspire our main character to do better and be different and be their true authentic selves. Then tragedy hits because number 5 is that our manic pixie dream girl doesn't tend to stay. Not staying can come about any number of ways. Sometimes they just leave, sometimes they disappear, and sometimes they pass away. Does Jack Dawson hit all of these points? Yeah. For Rose, he's not like other boys because he's poor. He's from a different class than she is. He's different. He does have hobbies and interests, and his main hobby and interest does align with Rose's, art. So another thing that Manic Pixie Dream Girl stories do is we tend to learn more about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl than our main protagonist. Like, other than Rose feels trapped and she likes art, what do you know about her? What other interests does she have? Does she actually do art, or does she just enjoy art? When we first meet Rose, she's an old woman and she's doing pottery, so we can't assume that she does enjoy doing art, making art. But what about when we first meet her? We know about Jack. We know all about Jack. He's a sketch artist, but we do know that he has an understanding of other art as well. To the point of being able to walk into a room, recognize a Monet, and then discuss it. And this mutual interest in art is something that brings the two together. But what about his other hobbies and interests? We don't know about those, right? Not officially, but we do know an awful lot about Jack while knowing very little about Rose. We know that he grows up with a father and that father used to take him ice fishing, so we can assume that he enjoys or at least knows how to fish. We know that he plays poker, he's a good dancer, and that he likes roller coasters. Our main character, we know very little about her, but we learn all of this stuff about Jack because it's a way for him to inspire her, which is the 4th point. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl has to inspire the main character. And then obviously Jack doesn't stay. He comes into her life, he serves his purpose, and then he goes away, which absolutely makes him one of the early examples of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope. Buddy, do I love that he's not a girl. His entire character, his whole purpose is to inspire Rose. I just find it really interesting and ironic that the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope is extremely sexist and problematic, yet one of the earliest examples we have is a man. A white man! Also, one of the hallmarks of Manic Pixie Dream Girl is that they don't end up together because they probably wouldn't work in the long term, and I 100% stand by that. Jack and Rose would not have worked in the long term. They would not have stayed together. I don't believe it, not for a minute. Thoughts, comments, concerns, like and subscribe.